Well, it's that time of the year again, and you know what that means. Buy more Ho ho ho, and welcome to 4K Ultra HD Review. Today we're reviewing Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which came out in 2018. And you want to stick around to the end of this review because I'm going to be running a contest where you can win a copy of this, as it is the holiday season, it is the gift-giving season, and I received this copy as a gift from my friend Ben. I also got a copy from my friend Mark, which we'll be giving away at the end of this episode. So Spider-Man. This movie won the Oscar in 2018 for Best Animated Feature, which usually doesn't happen. It usually goes to places like Disney or Pixar and DreamWorks. So this was a big win for Columbia TriStar and Sony. And it's kind of weird because Spider-Man is a Marvel comic, and Marvel's now owned by Disney, as you may know. But Spider-Man's film rights were bought by Sony. Sony had the exclusivity of Spider-Man films since 1999. And just recently with the Tom Holland Spider-Man, I call it the Home series because it was, Spider-Man Homecoming, Far From Home, and then the new one that just came out this week, No Way Home. Those movies are a bit of a cooperation between Sony and Marvel. So you see that particular Spider-Man and the Spider-Verse is in some of the Marvel films as a crossover. I typically don't like Spider-Man, and I'm not a huge Marvel fan, which is fine. I know a lot of people like Marvel movies. I'm just not a big fan. I was always a DC fan. I like Batman. However, this was my favorite Spider-Man film, or a piece of any type of fiction based off of Spider-Man. And I like the whole idea of the Spider-Verse and using the collider, basically, I guess what CERN has been doing. This was a big plot point of this film. And this movie was fantastic. As a 4K disc, this definitely will show off the power of 4K, especially HDR and all the colors and everything. It looked fantastic. And the style was very unique. I know at first when I watched this film, it was kind of strange because at times the action would drop to 12 frames per second. So the film is typically around 24 frames per second, or 23.9, something like that. But the animation would drop to 12 frames per second, and it would give it a really cool style, like it almost reminded me of clay animation, of stop motion animation, which I thought was cool. The colors were cool because they used the same style that you would see in older comics. I believe it's called the Ben Day process, where they use various little dots of colors to create new colors. I think that's how it works. There's famous Andy Warhol pictures or line dot. I guess they would also call it halftone, but I think Ben Day process is different. So it just uses a lot of cool animation techniques, both 3D and traditional animation. And it definitely awarded the 2018 Oscar for this movie. It was really good. But yeah, for sure, this film is a feast for the eyes. The sound is great. It has a really cool soundtrack to it. The movie is fast-paced. It's always kept my interest. And like I said, I'm not a huge fan of Spider-Man at all. And like most, Spider-Man's basically about a teenager becoming a man. It's about puberty. And I never really... if you know me, I hit puberty probably when I was maybe 10 years old, so I can't really relate to this this archetype. I always liked Batman because I thought Batman was cool because it was about like childhood trauma, and it was all like psychological, and he didn't have powers. He just trained and had a lot of money. But that being said, making a Marvel, well, it's not Marvel, it's Sony. Sony did good. Sony did so good that it made a Marvel property likable to a person like me who is not a Marvel fan. So if you haven't seen this, I would definitely see it. I believe Sony has greenlit, I think, at least 2 or 3 more sequels to this in the same style and the same story. I think one comes out, I don't know if 2023 or next year. So this is going to be an ongoing thing, and I believe what it's going to be like. It's I think they're splitting it that the Tom Holland Spider-Man will be that link to Marvel, to the Marvel movies universe, and the animated series will be Sony's property with Miles Morales, where they'll promote that. As for the physical product, it has a really nice looking cover and back. I mean, it's colorful and everything, which as it should be since it's based off of a comic book. But the big thing that put a smile on my face is as I open it up, the discs feature the best looking disc artwork that I ever have encountered. It's very colorful. They're different. Both the Blu-ray and the 4K discs are different. And I think that was an excellent touch. And I hope that other disc manufacturers, or at least Sony, continues to do this, because I find that the discs are always neglected in the art department. Overall, I give this film a glowing 9 out of 10. The only reason I take a mark off is because it had a bunch of trailers that they forced me to watch at the beginning of the movie, but that is still not that bad. I would recommend this if you were looking for a stocking stuffer for someone. It's a pretty good price, and it's a good movie. I highly recommend it for anyone, even for your own collection. So that's my review of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. If you'd like to win a copy of this film, please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell and write a comment. What's your favorite Spider-Man movie? I will pick a winner at random by middle of next week. So before Christmas, you'll know if you won a copy or not, and I'll mail it out to you. Once again, I'd like to thank my friend Ben and my friend Mark for giving me these copies of Spider-Man. Anyways, I appreciate you. Take care.